change. Even when it's with a Black woman, they don't call her a baby mom. Have y'all ever seen a Black man who heard that a Black woman announced that she was pregnant by a white man and he called her a future baby mama? I've never, which they're too dumb to realize how much they're saying about their opinion of themselves. But I've never heard any Black man say that a Black woman who, whether she was married to the white man or not, when she announced her pregnancy to that white man, never have I heard them ever call her a baby mom or a future baby mom, or say she gonna be a single mother, or she about to head down to the welfare office. I've never, and I've heard a lot of conversations in these spaces. I've never heard them refer to a Black woman that was pregnant with a white man's child as a future baby mom. And that right there tells you a lot about how they think of themselves as Black men versus different groups of men.
Absolutely.
They're also creating single mothers. And see, Black men want to run around with their 3 trash bags complaining about community issues that they're creating, but nobody gets to talk about it. Nobody gets to talk about how literally all of these problems, whether it's out of wedlock children, single mothers, baby daddies, unsafe communities, matriarchal hoods, Black men are creating them. But we don't get to say that Black men are creating them, but they are creating them. Men create single mothers when they refuse to marry the women that they're having children with. It's just that simple. If Black men didn't like single mothers, they would either 1, not be impregnating women that they don't want to commit to, or 2, only impregnating women that they are married to. It's that simple. That's what they will be doing. But they're not doing it. And the reason why they're not doing it is because they live in a Black male worshiping community where you have trash bag bandits without a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, thinking that and it's like, y'all ain't even making that much money on YouTube because you're splitting the money 4 ways. Sitting on a podcast, acting like you're in a position to rate who's the queen when you ain't no king.
Right.
Only kings should be talking about who's queen worthy or not. But when trash bag bandits get a platform and they think that they get to sit up and say stuff like that, it could only be because we live in a Black male worshiping culture. It's just that simple. It really is that simple. And I'm tired of people ignoring it. I'm not going to ignore it. Black men are causing these problems, bottom line. It's just that simple.
Here.
Onyx, did you see that video that I showed?
Yeah, I did see it. But the thing is, that's something, you have to really unpack, because the thing is this, there's part of it is look, most people aren't, I want to date a guy who has 3 children by 3 different women. So I kind of agree with this, but I think if you actually looked and dissected, the issue is like with the guys, because look, if a woman, just kind of like to Ella's point, if a woman has a child with somebody, whether that's an accident or on purpose or planned, whatever the case may be, her objective is kind of, if the guy is a good guy, she's gonna want to stay in that relationship. And so if that relationship breaks down, it's likely, more than likely, is because of cheating, because he's not providing, because of a whole thing, and she could be part of that issue as well. But then that happens again. You go into another relationship, and I'll just say statistically, there are a lot of the people who have children and are single without help from the dad is usually Black. So, and that goes across all races. So if you want to have an issue with single mothers, then you want to take issue with Black men, because it's like Black men are the ones who are not taking care of their children.
It's not just Black men.
No,
sorry.
But I'm not saying that's only, but I'm saying if you look at across the board at people, across the board, for people who are not taking care of their children, what's creating the single mother is by and large Black men. And I'm saying no matter
Black mother, but it's by and large.
No. This is what I'm talking about, where we can't even have an honest discussion.
No, I'm saying statistically, I looked into this because I wanted to have an understanding of why it is that when there's a single Black man, they're perceived to be heroes. They're perceived to be great men. It's like if there's a single Black man, people are looking at
that has his child.
Society as a whole looks at society as a whole looks at single men as great guys, but they look at women, whether it's a Black, whatever race they are, but predominantly when you see a Black woman who's a single mom, it's, you know, she's has poor judgment, just like this guy says, she's poor. And it's usually I mean, these statistical and stereotypical views are usually wrong. They're usually career oriented and all of that stuff. But I want to understand, why is there a perception that single women or single mothers who are women have, you know, there's one lens for them and then there's another lens for men. So when I say I say that by and large Black men are the ones who are creating single mothers, that's actually, you can look into it and you'll find that that's actually the case.
It is the case, and they're doing it with every race of woman.
Right,
and
that's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying. The Black male worship is so strong that we literally can't have a discussion about what Black men are doing without somebody defending them. We already know that all men are capable of creating single mothers.
That wasn't a defense.
I'm just
do that. Why do we need to do that in a discussion about Black men? Why do we need to do that?
Why not?
I think she means that white men or men of no color are more likely will get married.
More likely to get married. They do get married, and Black men don't value marriage. And I just don't understand why is it that we can't mention what Black men do without bringing somebody else up into it? Like, even if we are throwing Black men under the bus, why do we have to include other men in that? Like, I'm not.
Because this is why. Because if I'm in a situation that you're saying is because of Black men, and I'm in the situation because of a white man, of course I'm going to say, hello.
Right, but we're talking about likelihood and rates here.
So because technically you're married, so
right, and you are married. So if you're married, then it doesn't apply to you whether he's there or not. It just doesn't apply to you because you're married. So I want us to, because this is what Onyx is speaking to.
Divorced.
Right. Okay. So that's fine. Well, in any event, this is what Onyx is speaking to, and it's speaking to the common denominator being Black men. So
and a baby mama and a divorced mama.
I want to see the same data on other races of men, where no matter what race of woman they're with,
92%. God dang.
Yeah, they have an extremely high rate of absentee fatherism. Caucasian, Asian, Hispanic. Now, Asian, of course, would be at 85%. Asians don't really get with Black men. And it says, table 1, at the time of your child's birth, were you married to the father? Literally, the majority of them said no. The highest rate was with Asians. The highest rate was with Asian women. 3% of white women said no, they yes, they were married. Only 3% of white women said yes, they were married when they had a child by a Black man. 5% of Hispanic women said yes, they were married. 15% of Asian women said yes, they were married, but the vast majority of them, they ain't marrying them. Right. And then it says, did you and the father of your child eventually marry? 80% of the white women said no. 92% of the Asian women said no, and 99% of the Hispanic women said no.
Wow.
They didn't eventually marry the men. So you got, and then on the other ones, they asked if the men were active, and the majority of them said no. They asked if they were on welfare, the majority of them said no. So the bottom line of it is the common denominator is Black men. And we should be able to have a discussion about what Black men are doing without somebody jumping to the defense, because it doesn't do anything. All it really does is hold Black men back. That's all it does, because they always are getting a defense. Okay, well, other men are doing it too. That doesn't make it right that Black men are doing it. It doesn't make it right. Just because other groups of men are creating single mothers, that doesn't mean Black men should be creating them, because they're the ones running around condemning the single mothers that they're creating. They're doing it. I don't see other groups of men all over social media and creating groups talking about say no to white single mothers. Show me the group that white men made on Facebook called Say No to White Single Mothers.
He's saying that, you know, these women aren't worthy to date. Well, the reality is, if you really look at and dissect how these problems are happening, they're not worthy to date. So if women want to not be single mothers and they don't want to have go through multiple different partners and expecting one to actually be a decent guy and a provider and protector, my advice would be look elsewhere, because the statistics is right in your face.
The thing of it is there was somebody in the comment section, and this is their tried and true 3 trash bag logic, where they say, black women need to choose better. Listen, the law of probability says that there's no possible way. It's not possible. Mathematics and law of probability says it is not possible for most black men to be eligible good black men. It's not possible. It's just not. So when it comes to choosing better, I have to bring up the question of why are black men not choosing to be better, so that then the law of probability shifts, and then that black women have some men who are better to choose from. So when you say choose better, I'm starting to think at this point, you're telling black women to go divest to other races and men.
That's exactly
That's
true.
what you're telling them.
That's
Exactly.
exactly true.
Choosing better is not choosing black men. That's basically what you're saying. Based on probability, you may tell you to choose better, but the minute you perceive better to be a white man, because really they think white men are better too, and they just hating when black women get with the better man, then they troll like they trolled Ashanti for 2 days straight.
Yeah, it's lack of accountability. Really.
Like they haven't stopped trolling Serena Williams. Mind you, they were just sitting up talking about and making videos on how Jeezy upgraded to Jeannie Mai, who's a throwback of Men of No Color. But whatever, if black men are able to catch something that white men discard, then he must be the same as them, and they're distorted trash bag logic mind. So they're over there congratulating Jeezy, talking about he upgraded, he got a good woman, she's submissive, all this other stuff.
How do they know she's submissive?
Yeah, they said black women need to do better, and black women need to level up, and then maybe she can get a criminal who promoted himself as a drug dealer, who had a felony record, who had a record of beating his kid. Maybe then black women, you can get that too.
And I'm sure that he don't just have one kid and one baby mom, and I don't even know the
No, he got 2 kids by 2 different women.
Right. So
yeah,
maybe if they.
Yeah,
maybe
but they got all that to say about Jeezy. But then when it comes to Ashanti appearing to be leveling up with a white man, all of a sudden she's an escort. They knew something was wrong with her back when she was with Irv Gotti. That's why Keisha Cole didn't like her. She set race relations back 500 years. Like,
wow.
like they had a royal emotional meltdown, and then Ashanti had to come out and say, this is not my man, calm down. They in her DMs, in her comment section on Instagram, demanding that she gives them an explanation for having a picture with a white man. This is what they do.
That's demented, actually.
It is. It's demented depravity. And black women were in there co-signing it too. Meanwhile, they'll be on a post with Jeezy and Jeannie Mai talking about they look good together. It's like, y'all just sound silly. Like, most of the time, I have to question black women's self-esteem. I really do. But then I know it's black male worship, and you're conditioned to have low self-esteem. We are. We're conditioned to have low self-esteem and to worship black men. And a lot of black women don't want to, they don't want to let that go. And it's like, you need to let the black male work. Look, they're not going to do better. It's just that simple. Y'all want them to do better, they ain't gonna do it. Because y'all too busy worshiping. They don't got no kingdom. They not kings. They have no, what group of kings have to run around talking about Black Lives Matter? Oh yeah, they're sending their women to do that. They ain't even doing that. Black men ain't even out there saying Black Lives Matter, black women. So they can't defend themselves either. They need black women to do it.
It's like if you have to tell people your life matter all the while they're showing you that it doesn't. It's like a joke at this point.
What type of kings need to send their women out to protest and say Black Lives Matter because they're too weak and pathetic to defend themselves? Like, I'm just over it. Like, I really am. And we already know it's not all of them. Obviously, it's not all of them, but it doesn't really speak to majority rules. It's the majority of them, majority rules. So I just don't know why we would even be mentioning the minority when the majority of them are just cowardly trash bag bandits. And I don't know why they still say it.
And they still have options, and that's the thing. It's like we have women, we hold men at such a low standard, black men specifically at such a low standard. We just expect such little. So if they do anything, like I was on a group, and there's this video that they're asking to go viral, and it's black men with their daughters, and so I don't know if you've seen it yet, but they're talking about like we're being slain in the streets, but this video is to encourage people because we're here and we're, you know, we're with our daughters and we're now this video had like thousands of people commenting and been like, yeah, that's great, and this is to celebrate. And it's like I saw that and I was just like discouraged because like we're really celebrating like crooks,
A dad actually
savages,
being a dad.
like every species takes care of their own, but we're supposed to look at this and celebrate it because you're doing the bare minimum of not abandoning your child and mentioning in the same video that we're being playing in the street. Like how is and but if you read all the comments, everybody is just like this, you know, they're encouraged, this is the best, they're kings, they're raising their daughters.
Right.
Like
yeah, and at some point we need to just start.
Daughters. Like, why are we just, like putting people on a pedestal for doing the bare minimum of not abandoning their children? Like, that's just
that's what I'm saying. And we have to stop that at each generation. And I was talking to just got in kind of argument with Christina yesterday. It was kind of irritating me because it's like if you have any standards pretty much with any guy, it's like, oh no, they're doing, you know, they have a roof over their kid's head, and it's like
they paid their rent. Like, but the thing is, you're taking care of your child should not be something like that's celebratory when you're on a pedestal because you didn't abandon your child.
Yeah, we really do need to start with a generation and just be like, okay, like, this is what they're supposed to do.
You didn't abandon your child. That's something to let's make this viral. Black men
it's like no
their children. Like
you don't get a kudos.
But either way, I mean, you know, just
let me let y'all listen to this video because I don't think I ever got y'all's opinion on this video. And because it's like there's so many things that validates that we live in a black man worshiping culture. Like the arrogance is astounding. And then when I roasted this dude, he sit up there and made a video talking,
I don't think that dude in the face. I think he's so stupid and arrogant and dumb. And it's like, dude, this is why I don't date you. I want to go off on this dude. Like, I want to
listen, but let me let Onyx and Ella listen to this level of arrogance because we keep defending them and keep celebrating the like subpar mediocrity that they're doing.
See, here's what I don't understand. You know, black women complain about black men so much, and they complain about how we don't want them, how we sell out, how we really hate ourselves, and all this bullshit, right? But when somebody gives you an example of other races and men, examples of black men, why they date out their race, and how we want submissive women, automatically, why would she be your slave? No, it's not fucking being a slave, you idiot. It's not being a slave. It's called being submissive to your man because you love him. And that's what you should want to do. But, you know, as a result, you complain about black men dating outside their race, and you wonder why. Like we don't owe you shit.
She don't owe you shit.
Keep being, you know, masculine and rebellious and disagreeable and hard to get along with. Black men are going to continue to date white women, Spanish women, Russian women. It don't matter. But guys, there still are submissive black women.
No matter why is he so dumb?
You're right, they're all white. And here's the thing, if he was getting submitted, would he be making these videos? No. Like, you ain't getting—
He only dated women of no color.
The only thing that's submitting is your booty hole to white Zaddy. That's the only thing that's submitting. It's his booty hole. So he needs—
Right. He's ignorant. He's like really ignorant. Like why? Like most women would be submissive to a guy that is worth it. You're not going to be a trash bag dude, a trash bag dusty, I'll say, and a woman's going to submit to you. He's upset because he doesn't want anyone holding him to any standards. He doesn't want anyone saying to question why she should submit to him. He just wants to be dusty, stupid, and trashy. And he's going to say, no, I don't want you to be my slave. I want you to be submissive. No, he does want you to be a slave because he wants you to be submissive. He wants you to do 50-50. He wants you to clean the house. He wants you to do his laundry. He wants you to cook his food. He wants you to take care of his child. But then, and also submit to him, do what he says.
It's
that is a freaking slave. So he's acting like, no, I don't want you to be a slave. I want you to be submissive. But if he tells you the details of the submissive that he wants a slave.
I'll date the man that got you submitting. Because, like, why am I gonna date you when you submit to two other men? I'll date the men that are up here. You're down here. So when you get up here, then I'll date you. But like,
here's my question: of the trash bag bandits in that video, would any of them be complaining about submission and trying to debo women into submission and try to manipulate women? Look, we don't care how many white women you get because we know you're making them single mothers. Whether they submit or not, you're going to turn them into a single mother.
Right.
Not going to marry
Or disease having like just stressed out, no edges, just like, no, I'll pass.
submission. It's like
He's trying to shame. He's trying to shame submission out of Black women. But the thing is, she has to respect you to submit to you. She don't respect you because you're trash.
I think it's always fascinating to me when I hear, because this is such a Black community thing, because you don't hear other races saying, I want somebody to submit. And I think I really dissect this, and I think, why is it that they're so weak that, you know, they're getting dominated in every aspect of their life, so they want, at least when they go home, someone not to, you know, ruffle
their authority.
Right. So I try to understand it. So I think, well, part of this could be, you know, as a Black man, you know, they are dominated by every aspect of life. They can't go in other spaces and not be dominated by other men, other women, outside of Black women. And so when they go home, they want someone, or Black women, to be submissive. Unfortunately, Black women, because we are not protected, and we are the ones who have to pay our own bills, men are, you know, raise our children, do all this. We're actually geared more to be stronger. So we're not in a position to be submissive to someone who isn't presenting an environment for us to do that. Like, there's tons of women, Black women included, who would like to be in a situation. I look at submission as in, the guy is the leader. He presents how the household is going to be run. He makes the decisions and presents them together, and they make the joint decisions together. But you know, he leads that home or an environment. Black women will be a fool to say, well, you know, here's our life situation. You make decisions, and, you know, let's talk about this, but I'm gonna let you make the decision on it. Like, you don't qualify for that. So
exactly.
I would love to think, to Black women especially, would love to think, oh, he's gonna take care of the bills. I don't have to worry about that. He's running he's running our budget, so things are going great there. You know, I can trust this person. So, you know, he got us. So what he says, I'm gonna consider it, and I'm going to take it on board and trust him, because he's shown that. Black men in any stage, and by and large, I'm sure there's somewhere, don't show or display any kind of leadership skills at any aspect in their lives, in their own lives. So it'd be dangerous, irresponsible, and foolish and it just isn't going to happen likely with a Black woman, because we have the discernment for the most part to say, well, let me look at your life and make some of the choices you make, and make a decision of whether I can trust you with making decisions for me too. And that just hasn't been the case. So it's like, he should go and look for somebody who's going to be been fooled by his stupidity. And quite frankly, I would be surprised if anyone, like, he can maybe find a teenager whose frontal lobe hasn't developed yet, but if he can find women to let him lead their lives and be submissive to him, I mean,
well, you can look at society and the structure of society and say, okay, am I going to pick someone that's at the very bottom, literal very bottom, and put myself under that person? So I have to scrape this person off the literal. No,
there are guys.
No, let me finish saying. I have to scrape this person. I have to scrape this person off the literal concrete and put myself under them. I'm not willing to do that.
I think that men who can't afford a box spring to go with their mattress should not be demanding submission. And he looks like he couldn't. He looks like he could only afford the mattress and not the box spring.
Flip the script and put yourself on top and stop being the bottom bitch. Then I can date you. Until that, stop asking for submission.
No,
don't be the bottom bitch. Don't be the global bottom bitch and ask people for and try to punk Black women into submission. Like
I think he needs to prove that he can afford a bed frame.
Yeah, I would just say that what Cynthia's saying is really important. You gotta have a good night of sleep. You gotta have a good night of sleep. But I think that for women in general, like, if you're looking for a guy to submit to, this guy needs to, like, I treat this like a job. If he has a good career where he has demonstrated, not only that he's a great manager because he's got promotions, or he has managed his own company. And, these are things that I have to see, that you've managed companies, that you were a leader in your community, that if
Your
if
life
you have,
is in order.
right, but I'm saying,
named
like, if
3
you're
white
managing
men,
your own
different
company,
kinds of white
then
men.
you have you're showing that you have good management skill. You're showing you have good budgeting skill. You're showing that you can run a business and make good decisions. So that's showing me that I can give you a chance to interview. Like he's not even showing up for an interview. You're not getting a chance to interview if you don't mean he's even qualified. He shouldn't even be applying for a situation to be leading anybody or asking for somebody to submit under his leadership. Like, why? Like, you don't
He thinks
qualify.
if he
Like, he needs to be looking at a lower level position. Like, he's not even qualified to get an interview. So he shouldn't even be dating until but he's asking for not only to date, he's saying let me be a leader and you submit to me. Like,
Sorry, no.
Like, listen, here's the thing, screw a dick pic. You need to send me a picture of your mattress.
Better have a headboard about
Picture of a complete mattress and a mattress set with a bed frame.
I hate you, Cynthia. I hate you.
But that's so sad because that's like the standard. That is
Yeah.
like,
so many of these dudes are sleeping on half
A mattress on the floor.
and saying I'm gonna get me a real woman
Yeah.
who will be submissive.
About an air mattress. I mean, I don't know which one is worse, the air mattress or the mattress that you
I would say the air mattress. Those dishes aren't comfortable. They're for camping only.
At least the air mattress is elevated, so it's like really.
No, he even got the little air mattress.
I hate air mattresses. I can't sleep on those.
Like, I'm not doing it with y'all. Like, I'm not about to see, because here's the thing, the four dudes in that video look like they sleep on mattresses on the floor, and that dude in here, he looks like the air mattress max, the maximum, but he definitely doesn't have a bed frame. He definitely don't got a frame. He doesn't.
He definitely don't have a frame. But look, I say shame on us because clearly, as arrogant as he is, he has some options out there. So.
Yeah, but all his options that he asked for were white. He thought he was giving a variety. He thought he was giving out a variety, though.
And that's what I'm saying. They sit up here and they list all these women as if they choosing somebody who ain't white. All of them are white. So just say you gonna go get you a white one. What you do? He could have cut his video down at least 5 seconds if he represented white.
And then he's like, idiot. It's like, okay, but
they sitting there using magic jacks and sitting there talking about a woman ain't a queen. It's like, dude, upgrade to a cell phone from your magic jack. At least get an phone before you sit up here and talk about yourself. It's like you want to know what she got because you don't got nothing. That's what I heard. I need to know what you got because I don't have nothing.
It's very true because
and his mom just kicked him out of the basement. So I mean,
yeah, like I'm so over these dudes. It's like I want one of these dudes to come over here and get roasted. Come over here and get roasted. Since you sitting up there talking about he don't see no queens over there, probably because you ain't no king. Peasants don't have access even by sight to queens. So that's how you know. If you don't see no queens, that means you're a peasant. Bottom line, you probably sitting in somebody's dungeon somewhere. It's like I can't.
He can't come in my dungeon.
Yeah, y'all
I wouldn't allow him.
Really, the black man worship got them on a high horse that they shouldn't even be on. Like y'all can't even afford a pedestal, but black women done put y'all on a pedestal that you can't even afford. It just doesn't even make any sense.
Or maintain. That's like.
And yet they go to the trailer park and go dumpster diving, thinking they just moved up. What did they do? They go to that trailer park. They get in those dumpsters and just pull them out. And they be like, I'm not kidding.
I got me a dime piece.
They are literally at the trailer park. They will literally be at the trailer park dumpster diving, and they still they done came up, and it's like but then I'm like, yo, y'all mad. Yeah, then it's like,
Like, no, honey, we're happy. We're
no,
relieved.
we're happy. Trust me, we're
Right.
happy for both of
These dudes
y'all.
gotta know